Hey everybody, Speedy here, Bennu Studio Inc.'s here to do the weekly Saga vlog journal about the progress the studio's making. As I'd mentioned in some of my other videos, I had to build the infrastructure to get myself in a position where I can begin to execute my vision, my overall vision. Um, and so this Saga series is actually about slowly sharing that vision as it starts to take shape. I'm using the YouTube channel to document the challenges and the accomplishments that I'm able to get done week to week. Um, got a milestone. Tales from the Drafting Table series. We got it up, operating and functioning for a full week, and it will continue from this point forward. Um, the purpose of that series is actually to show my research and my sketchups and my drafting approach to headed towards doing the final work itself. So I could share my process a little bit and also share some stories and some funny little things that the process of researching can kind of sometimes bring up in my mind while I'm doing it. And, you know, in the beginning of it, it was a little rough because I just started out, and the one thing that's new for me, art is not. Like, I've repeated a lot. I've been doing it since I was 3 or 4 years old, and I've been trained here in America and in Europe. Um, like most people, COVID really threw a huge kink in life, and just life in general put me off my trajectory of being able to continue to work through galleries and answer call to artists and things like that. So I finally got myself in a position where I got a vocation that would be able to support me building and reopening my studio in a more effective way than what it originally was. I was doing this out of my living room, and I had to take and shelve a lot of ideas because I really didn't have the proper workspace to fully put my vision out whenever I got a good call to arts that I felt like um, I could answer effectively. So returning, and that's part of why it's called Banu Studio Inks, is one, I'm an expert in ink and chemistry of ink and the chemistry of art. Um, but the other reason is Banu is the Egyptian word for the, creative bird of rebirth, and it's actually the bird of birth, not just rebirth. For me, it's a little bit of both, and creativity itself is about birthing. Every piece of work and every project I do is like my baby, my child. So there is a continual process of birthing new creations. So it connects very well. But also, the Phoenix is known for rebirth. And considering between COVID and just general personal life struggles, art is not cheap. Unlike maybe, and I am also a musician, but when it comes to the cost of being a musician, I might have to replace some guitar strings from time to time. I might have to replace a drum skin. But for the most part, I can sit, I can play, I can record, write songs. None of that costs me anything but time. Whereas painting and sculpting and other types of theater type of projects, every time you do something, it costs you money to do it. So it's way more challenging. Um, but that's really the awesome thing is that I finally got the infrastructure done. I really have no barriers now to following my creative visions in any direction I'm called in. I no longer have to just write a great idea down in a journal and put it away because the idea itself is something you can't do inside an apartment living room. You can't do welding in an apartment living room. Not that I intend to do it, but I'm that kind of free-form creative. I'm multimedia artist, so I I go where the vision takes me, and I don't have any limitations on what materials I use. If those materials fit the vision and fit the idea, then I use it. And I've eliminated that in my rebirth where I have to set those kind of projects aside and one day I'll make. No, I can. I can make them now. and I have over 40 journals of those kind of ideas stacked back. So I got the drafting series, Tales from the Drafting Table, up and running, and it will be running continually from now on. And it's where I'm taking all of those ideas and also new ones that come through, and any call to artists entries that end up answering. I tend to start answering them more towards the fall, but I'm still going to begin that process of getting everything back into full function. Um, and so that's why the drafting table series exists. It's so that you can literally see it go from the building blocks and come out of my mind and my research and watch me transition it from sketching it out and working all its technical things out to advancing it to its final medium, which will be in a series upcoming that'll be formatted a bit differently and a little more quirky, where I execute the final work. And in cases where it's being sent off to a call to entry, being sent off to a gallery for a competition, it will also include the crating, the photography, and the prepping and everything I have to go through to enter those competitions. And it'll feature the failures and the victories, both, because I believe wholeheartedly in authenticity. I live that authenticity. I pay for that authenticity when around a lot of fake people, or what I like to call face dancers, who are playing the social game instead of just being themselves. I can't do that. That's not who I am. It's a part of my creative and artistic nature to just authentically be what I am. And I can't worry about if that bothers people. And I don't, ultimately, other than when it threatens my ability to do my studio. That's a little different. I protect my studio fiercely. Um, but aside from that, I wanted to give that update. And yeah, I will name the name of the series coming up that is the execution phase, in my next Saga video, because it's still under development. Because with the Tales from the Drafting Table, I'm just now starting to go through the drafting process necessary to execute the final artwork. So for the previous 2 years, I've been building the studio. I'm done building, and now it's time to actually put it into action. And this has been a great week, despite the struggles and despite the challenges that I've faced because of a temporary medical leave. It's actually still been a wonderful week because, yeah, that was my neighbor. I'm out here in an industrial setting. I am working where I can work for now financially. And then I am currently, while I'm doing the video series, it's part of building up a larger prospectus to head towards an art district, either in the area I live in now or an area that's better possibly suited towards my ambitions. I still think the area I'm in fits my ambitions. It's trying to grow into that, and I would like to be a part of that beginning of it truly growing into it rather than necessarily jumping into an already existing art district in a larger market. I am in a smaller market and it's super challenging. But you see, it's a growing region and it eventually will become a larger market. And it's happening very rapidly. So I actually feel like I'm still in the right place. It's just challenging. The old guard, the old country bumpkin part of our region doesn't really want to grow, technically. Um, but there are more movers and shakers that have moved into this economy that are actually pushing that growth. And so there's lots of reasons to be optimistic about that. So I am developing a bigger picture prospectus. So this is the studio as it is now. If everything I'm working towards goes well, I could be in a totally different studio setup in the near future. I just have to keep working on it, building up my presence on YouTube and showing how real and how serious this is to me and how this is how I intend to live the rest of my life, barring any more weird kind of global shutdowns and things like that. But I think that I'm close enough now where I can insulate against like global shutdowns compared to what I used to be able to do, what caused me to have to be derailed from pursuing my life's ambition. I've known I wanted this since I was 10 years old. I've gone and got all the jobs I needed to learn all the different techniques and things I needed to do to be able to do what I'm actually executing right now. Um, so, like I said, it's been a really awesome week despite all the personal challenges. I don't let that stuff get in my way. Um, and I look forward to continuing the Tales from the Drafting Table series. It will pick back up on Monday. We're moving into a new phase in that one. The first subject for that series was doing a Wolverine montage, something for me personally to keep as a keepsake as I put those books away and get them out of my access so that I don't kind of get contaminated in my other endeavors, which one of those is actually I wrote my own. I've written my own comic and I'm getting ready to execute it in a few weeks. And some of the drafting table series will be about how I'm building and setting it all up. But it won't really be me sitting there drawing everything I'm doing in it. I'll let that come out in the actual comic book itself. Mostly the drafting table series is in part of setting up my paintings, my watercolor paintings, my sculptures, and to tell stories as I go through the foundational process. And then, like I said, I will announce in next week's Saga on Saturday what the name of the execution series is and what its premiere night will be. Most likely, it'll be a Friday night episode showing the conclusion, like I said, of the things that I've done on the drafting table series. Um, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and a wonderful night wherever you're at. I hope that all the positive things that you want for yourself are manifest. I hope that all the negative things that you have to encounter and overcome are easy for you and just having a positive, loving, happy kind of vibe going for you. I try to keep that as something that keeps me going. You know, I'm nothing for love, even for my haters. You can hate me, and it's not going to stop me from having the big love. You know, uh, it's what an artist is called to be. Okay, well, I want to go ahead and conclude the saga video. I think got a lot of good positive things done, you know, and there's a lot of really awesome things to look forward to. Um, I intend Sundays as my kind of recovery day, so I don't really have any future plans of doing anything more than a 6 day a week video schedule on YouTube. But it will be 6 days a week. There will be the saga will be done on Saturday, and Monday through Friday is going to be the Tales from the Drafting Table. And then when the execution series is prepared, Tales from the Drafting Table will drop down to 4 days, and the execution series will come out on Friday, showing the conclusion of the things that I worked on that series, Tales from the Drafting Table. Anyway, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful night. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Speedy out. Have a great day. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.